So for those of you that don't know who Helena is, Helena B. Scott is an international author, historian and linguist and initiate of the mysteries. As a light trance and mental medium with a strong spiritual connection, Helena is a member of the Ghost Club, the world's oldest paranormal research society established in 1862, and the London College of Psychic Studies established in 1884, where she lectures as a specialist on the Knights Templar, author of the only comprehensive study featuring in the secret history and physical research on Ireland's most haunted house, Loftus Hall, Loftus the Hall of Dreams. Amazon bestseller in Freemasonry, secret societies and occultism. Formerly known as Redmond Hall, this haunted estate on land once belonging to the Knights Templar features esoteric architecture. So Helena works in secret history, historical revisionism, aiming to unveil overlooked aspects intentionally omitted or forgotten, such as ancient wisdom. Her mission goes beyond historical revisionism. She seeks to give a voice to the voiceless, including women in history, and those unjustly persecuted, such as the Gnostic groups like the Cathar and Knights Templar, specializing in medieval history, symbolism, Freemasonry, and secret societies, and the Western esoteric tradition. Helena's research revives Ireland's relevance in the context of ancient knowledge and sacred energies. Helena is multilingual and is not limited by language barriers in her research, being a native speaker of both English and Spanish, and working with French, Italian, Catalan, Portuguese, or having sound knowledge of German and Swedish. Her language skills extend to dead languages like Latin, Hebrew, Old Norse, and hieroglyphs. In her exploration of symbolism and medieval graffiti, she is well versed in early writing systems. You can discover more about Helena and her work, as well as upcoming events on her website, www.helenabscott.com, Facebook and YouTube, where she shares captivating episodes of her travel research vlog and insightful lectures on the Knights Templar. So Helena, in your history work of unearthing the forgotten aspects of history, such as the important women of history, and those who were persecuted, such as the Gnostics and the Knights Templar, you're very familiar with symbolism, the Knights Templar and their way of life, winemaking and medical knowledge. Could you go into this and your knowledge of St. Helena and what made you resonate with her?
Yes, and I'm going to show the bottle there. You see Helena there, and you're just waking up, you're having breakfast, and it's 10:30 over here, and I'm having a glass of wine. As you can see, I will be having it in a minute, but that's her. So firstly, I want to say that, as you can all see, I'm a woman, or at least I think I look like a woman anyway, and I'm also a historian who works in secret history, what is known as shadow history or historical revisionism. What that is unearthing evidence and carrying out research of revisionist interpretation of history. So basically, anything that has been omitted, whether on purpose or overlooked or forgotten, or that has been really deliberately suppressed, especially by or ignored by established scholars. That happens a lot. So I like to be, I don't know if play the role of justice, maybe that's a way of saying it, but I like to be neutral and fair. And I think history is written by the winners usually, so a lot of things get left out. So that's why I went into this area of history, really. And also because, to be honest, and I don't like saying anything against my colleagues, but many historians like to parrot history and are very comfortable being what I call armchair historians from home, Googling or searching on databases, or, you know, with a nice book by the fire or research, and like to criticize those of us who actually do find evidence, because we do go out there and research and get wet and fracture legs and all sorts of wonderful things. You know, I'm still recovering from a double leg fracture. So, you know, those of us who go out there and stay from dusk till dawn, spending every penny of our pockets, funding our own research, or dragging our kids I have to mention my son in this, for justice and for truth, which is what was embodied by St. Helena, really, because she represents many things for the Templars, and she's very important to them. But she was a woman who went on an expedition in her late age. I don't know if she was, some people say 70, others say 80, and she discovered the relics of the true cross and the nails of Christ. And she was driven by a love for Sophia, for knowledge. So she's also, by the way, I keep forgetting, Helena, thank you for reminding me, but she's also the world's first archaeologist. So, I mean, being a historian and a woman, I had to do a wine as a tribute to her. And of course, the Templars dedicated many chapels to her, and they revered the Divine Feminine, which I'll go into afterwards. Mary Magdalene, and St. Helena being some of the top females that were important to them. So that's what resonated with me. And also, I like to say that in my work in Secret History, I give a voice to the voiceless in history. And I think the first victim of history, or voiceless itself, is history itself. And then women as well. And of course, the persecuted, the Agnus Dei. And in that, I wanted to do today, for me it was special to do today, and thank you for asking me, because I feel that the Gnostics have been persecuted throughout history, from the earliest of times. And even nowadays, I mean, we have, freedom of faith and to choose and so on. And Gnosticism isn't a faith per se. It's more, I would describe it as an underlying stream of philosophy, of knowledge, of gnosis. But so many people, get very touchy on the subject of faith, and I think it's so important to allow freedom to choose. So that's another victim there. That's another voiceless. So I'm very blessed, I feel, and especially now it's Easter. Today I actually made my son watch, I don't know if you'll think it's a good thing or a bad thing, but Netflix has this series on Moses. And after making him watch one of your episodes on the Bible's biggest lie, I got him to watch Moses with me. And it's kind of, it's kind of gotten to me, maybe now that I've turned 48, that it's really, we have to stand up for what is right. We have to stand up for what we believe in. So for me, justice in history is a big one. So that's what resonated with me, with her, with the Templars, and with Gnosticism as well. And like I was saying, women have been victims in history. The first silence victims, if you will, and the feminine aspect of God, Sophia, the Shekinah. And that was key to the Templars. So that's why I've also done a book that, it's coming out soon, The Way of the Rose, and there'll be a little video that I'll be showing afterwards here on the divine feminine aspects of the Knights Templar, because they were trying to bring that back that has been suppressed from life, and I think that was a very important job that they had. So the place that St. Helena found, or rather the place where she found the cross and the nails of Christ, later became, as you know, the location of the Holy Sepulchre. There was a church built there, and it would become a place of pilgrimage. And, well, we're Easter week. I think it's important to talk about those things. I feel like I'm doing a seasonal program here. But it's connected to the Knights Templar, and I want to mention a particular figure right now, Godfrey of Bouillon, okay? Leading crusader and elected defender of Jerusalem following the First Crusade. He's important because he sets up 2 military orders in Jerusalem, among the first, I would say. The Equestrian Order of the Holy Sepulchre in 1098 to protect the holy relics, and the Order of the Priory of Our Lady at Mount Sion in 1099 to protect the bloodline, supposedly. What isn't mentioned, and this is secret history, as I say, is that Godfrey Bouillon, even though he's not mentioned as a founding Knights Templar, was instrumental in the founding of the order, even if he died in 1100, because we're told that the Knights Templar were founded in 1118, officially, perhaps, but unofficially, they existed much before that. And we do have evidence of that. There's a strong case for the existence of the order before, because we have letters that still exist from the Bishop of Chartres to Count Hugh, begging him basically not to abandon his wife for the order of the temple, with those words, in 1114. I believe there's an earlier letter from 1110 as well. So that's a record right there that we have. But there's other evidence that we have that suggests that the order was founded much earlier, and I will be mentioning that in my book. However, I'm mentioning Godfrey, and today I'm here to talk about Templar spirituality and how that came to be. And I've been mentioning women, and I have to mention another woman now that's relevant to everything that happened with the order and spirituality as well. Godfrey's aunt, Matilda of Tuscany. Matilda of Tuscany, a lot of people don't know this, but she actually founded the world's first military order. In, I believe it was 1060, the order of Altopascio, St. James of Altopascio in Italy. That was the first order ever founded by a woman. A military order founded by a woman. Yes, I'm bringing all the women back from history. So I will burn at the stake for that. I know I will. But she's important because I'm doing a little side project with her, which I might give some sneak previews, but it has to do with the cover of my upcoming book. And she also founded 100 monasteries, but she is believed to have provided the funds to the Priory of Sion. And why am I ranting on about this? Because some people believe, some scholars believe, and I would agree with this, that the Knights Templar, regardless of when they were founded, officially or unofficially, that they came from the Priory of Sion, from those knights that were in the Priory of Sion. So we can trace directly to Godfrey's family, through his aunt and through him, the beginnings of the order. And I think that's quite important, especially if we look at his lineage and his roots. I always say that roots matter. And roots matter when we come to understand the faith of the Templars, because a lot of things have been thrown around. The Templars were Catholic. The Catholic Church would like that now, wouldn't they?
Oh, they certainly would.
But, you know, truth is stranger than fiction. And truth is always, you know, unexpected as well. They were not Catholic. Some of them could have been, and I'm going to go into that in a minute, but they were not. And I am very proud to say that the Knights Templar were part of something bigger that I believe in, which was the preserving of knowledge of Gnosis, the Gnostic traditions. And I think we have to thank them in many ways because they have contributed to preserving the Gnostic traditions, the Gnostic customs, Gnosticism today even, you know. So I think that's one thing that is not mentioned and I wanted to say. But going back to the Templars and wine, because this is very relevant, Matilda here, Godfrey's aunt, was also